know how you follow that. My people were in Mount Joy as well, but they were dirt poor Mennonite farmers. There's nothing interesting about that. So, in August of 2008, I took a job with a software firm in Southern California. This particular software firm, they develop lots of tools that are used to do geographic analysis and satellite image analysis. Really cool stuff if you're a nerd like I am. And so I went out there. Now, I was only supposed to be there 3 to 6 months. My 2 tasks while I was there was 1, learn everything I could about all their software packages, and 2, go through the process of acquiring a top secret compartmental security clearance, as after I finished there, I was going to be on site at the Pentagon. You can see why, hey, tech support, I'm looking at this picture of a bunker, and no, they wanted somebody there to help them out. So for me, this was just the opportunity of a lifetime. I was so excited. I had worked really hard at this. I went to Johns Hopkins and University of Pennsylvania. I really did well at spatial analysis. I'm like, you know what, this is the trajectory I'm on. And I was so happy. So I went out there, but here's the thing. My whole life, or at least I should say since adolescence, I've suffered from a bit of melancholy. And so about 1.5 years before I went out there, I saw a psychiatrist, and he diagnosed me as having clinical depression and adult ADD. Go figure. Ooh, a bird. They put me on antidepressants and stimulants. This would help me focus. And for a while, things worked great. But as time progressed and I was in California, my mood started getting more and more erratic. Things were going badly, and it culminated in December where I started hearing voices telling me to kill myself. Yeah, thankfully I had enough of this was still intact to say, you shouldn't be hearing this. So I was going to get help. Now this was how I decided to get help. I went around the corner to the Catholic Church, asked to see a priest, and said, will you perform an exorcism? It's okay to laugh, that's ridiculous. Okay? Thankfully, that Catholic priest could discern demon possession from mental illness, and he took me down to the hospital where I was checked in. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a psychiatric ward, particularly as a patient, but it is the most humiliating and degrading experience you will ever have in your life. They take everything, including your clothing. In fact, the one possession I was allowed to retain were my glasses. You are given massive amounts of psychotropic drugs, questioned, and imprisoned. Now, since I went there of my own free will, they told me, this is not an involuntary commitment. However, if you try to leave, we'll restrain you. So, as it turned out, I do not have clinical depression. I have bipolar disorder. The medication they gave me, the antidepressants, triggered what's known as a mixed manic state. Imagine the worst of all mental health scenarios. You are unbelievably depressed, and on top of that, you're manic. So it's like rapid fire bad ideas. But thankfully, a hefty dose of lithium, and I was out the door. And it was a couple days before Christmas, and I actually walked the 5 miles back from the hospital to my place. It was weird. It was Southern California, and it was snowing. And I can remember it. It was just probably the most surreal walk of my life. The next day, I found out that because of my little foray into demon possession, the United States government had decided I would not be issued a security clearance. As this was a condition of my employment, I lost my job. After that, when I returned and came back here, my girlfriend of 5 years broke up with me. This was horrible. Now, this was without a doubt the lowest point I've ever been in my life. And you could look at it from the perspective of, wow, that's just the most horrible thing. But alternately, I think you can see that person that was there. And I'm still here today. And that person who went to California, I know for a fact I'm better than that person. I have had a new beginning. Because that person would have been too ashamed to tell you this story. Thank you.